When Art Cohn of the Lake Champlain Maritime Museum spoke about this replica schooner he was building to show the way goods and services used to get from Vermont to Manhattan, Cabot was the first to raise their hand and say, "I want to go on that journey." What kicked off July 29th culminated August 16th and 17th in New York City. And what we were able to do, what Cabot was able to do with its partners of the state of Vermont, many other manufacturers and service groups in the state, what we were able to do was present the very best of Vermont today as was done over 100 years ago. So you had this incredible juxtaposition of the Lois McClure schooner coming into the Manhattan harbor after a 1-month journey down the Northern Waterway, stopping at all these ports along the way. We picked the place that the schooner arrived in Manhattan very specifically. We wanted the schooner to come in at dawn, right by the Statue of Liberty. This facility, the World Finance Center, was in the shadow of the World Trade Towers. You have residences, you have business people. The average income is about 95 grand. Over 250,000 people just in these facilities alone, and we saw a good percentage of them. The state of Vermont boasted that in 2 days they got more sign-ups for Vermont vacation information than they did after 6 weeks at Disney. What we featured were the very best of Vermont crafts, furniture, specialty foods. We did it in displays outside where people could actually see the granite sculptor. They could see the rug hooker. They could see the baskets being woven. Very touching for families and people interested in how things are made. There was a whole tent on the best of Vermont specialty foods, a lot of the award winners from the American Cheese Society competition. Importantly for our farmers, there was also the whole Maple Foundation did a sugar house where people snacked all day long on sugar candy and Vermont maple syrup. Inside, we had the state of Vermont registering people for Vermont vacation information and some incredible sweepstakes by several Vermont companies donating their products, as well as a chance to win a Vermont vacation. And then these spectacular rooms. The sports room, the luxury ladies lounge, the balcony, which featured Vermont inside and New York City outside, and then the children's room. One of the things that we have realized over the years is though we may be 1 out of every 10 bar of cheese sold in Manhattan, the potential there is extraordinary for everything Vermont. We have a great product recognition, name recognition, and what Cabot was trying to do is also share that with our very best products and services. We were very successful in getting publicity for the event.
On behalf of Mayor Bloomberg, officially welcome you all to New York City.
In the old days, boats like the McClure used to bring all kinds of products from Vermont to New York. So now that this boat is here, well, they decided to bring some products along for the ride, like cheese.
Well, up next from Vermont to the Big Apple, the Lois McClure is about to pull into port.
15, better late than never. A New York welcome 100 years in the making.
Jim Smith is in Chopper 2 to explain what this is all about. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sean. Well, there is a festival ongoing right now in Lower Manhattan today and tomorrow. The event is called the Best of Vermont.
Lois McClure has arrived in New York City.
The Big Apple got to experience a bit of the Champlain Valley and its history today. It all started early this morning with the arrival of the Lois McClure.
When it docks in Manhattan today, the celebration will include a special 2-day showcase of Vermont goods and products on and around the schooner.
The Lois McClure is part of an overall tribute to the Green Mountain State. It will be on display through tomorrow.
In fact, the entire Winter Garden area has been turned into a mini Vermont, where you can try maple syrup candy,
Really good. Powder.
apple pie, which apparently is supposed to be eaten with, yep, you guessed it, cheese.
We don't do it with ice cream in Vermont. We do it with sharp cheddar cheese.
In addition to all the Vermont treats, Vermont's big cheese in the U.S. Senate decided to stop by to explain why we should buy stuff from his state.
New York's a very large state, and you got to market in-state. We have to export.
If you want to check out the latest export, the Lois McClure, it'll be in town through Wednesday.
New York One was there all day running clips of the event, as well as the dedication and the startup of the event. It started out with this great opening ceremony with Adrian Benepe, who's the head of New York parks and recreation. And the exciting thing about Adrian Benepe is that he's a Middlebury graduate. So he was thrilled to be asked to present Mayor Bloomberg's certificate to us, as well as Senator Leahy, who spent both the night before and most of the morning of that day's event getting to know the Vermont products. It was fun for him. In addition to the paid advertising that Cabot did, which included the New Yorker, New York Times, Village Voice, and many other area papers and radio stations, the state of Vermont put up these fabulous banners, which really blanketed the area around our event about a month before it occurred. In fact, the banner occurred before we even know who was going to be in the event. It was pretty exciting. As far as media, both in Vermont and New York, media is what really got everybody's attention. We figured it was complete gravy if anybody actually showed up, because we could talk about Vermont and Cabot and all these great products well in advance of the event itself. And more importantly, because you could not sell in this facility, as fabulously located as it was, you could not sell in this facility by law. And what we did was we drove all the traffic and interest right to the web, and our web hits are in the thousands. And we're looking forward to hearing back from the individual artisans and furniture makers, and especially food people, how many sales they actually got out of the event. There was quite a range of objects. There was a $12,000 cherry poker table, and down to a bag of scones from King Arthur Flour. And prior to the event, we had signage up at Simon Pierce's store in New York City. We had Zabar's. We did demos at Food Emporium, other stores around the area. But all in all, we had about a month to try to stand out in New York City. And if you've ever done business in the world, you know that New York City is the #1 market in the world, and probably the hardest and most expensive to try to stand out in. By doing it together, I genuinely believe Vermont stood out. And for that, Cabot is very grateful, and very grateful to everyone that participated. And on behalf of the farmers who own Cabot, hurrah to all of us.